very crass stuff. It's like ugly suckers.
Quit. You have to make this airable on YouTube.
Chaotic good. For me, it's the most fun kind of good, you know? Because chaotic good, they do a bunch of... Yeah, if you're chaotic good, you're basically, you know, stealing a cop... You basically steal a cop car to deliver turkeys to the poor.
Potentially.
Yeah, what's a chaotic good thing for you that you can think of?
Being a weed dealer. In a state where it's not legal.
True.
Because in my opinion, you're helping people, because in my opinion, weed is a very viable treatment for a lot of anxieties and mental disorders that are otherwise only treatable with expensive prescription drugs.
I believe that too.
And therefore, in my opinion, you're doing a public service as a weed dealer that is not necessarily looked upon as legal, like depending on where you're at.
Yeah.
Technically, it's not federally legal anywhere if you're in the United States. So, in my opinion, that's chaotic good. Like, you're providing a needed service. It may not be legal, but it's a good service, in my opinion. Not everybody can agree with me. You know,
No. I get you.
That's what I feel like, you know.
Yeah, I get you. But anyway, we have r/chaotic good. There is no escape. Let's check out what kind of chaotic good is out there on the internet. Here we go.
In Poland, a mysterious metal case was found on the porch of an orphanage in the village of Deluga. The inscription on it said that it was a donation. Employees, thinking that there might be a bomb, were afraid to open the find and called the police. Arriving police officers opened the case and found sweets and about $25,000 in it. Okay, yeah, but the way that thing looks, I know that the chain and lock are there for a reason because there's a lot of money in it, but it does look highly suspect. But damn, pretty cool nonetheless, I'd say. Turkish photographer beats up client after learning the bride is 15 years old. Hell yeah, man. Me after I report every military ad I see for threatening violence against others. Good one. Your dog's gay. Sorry. Me and my partner adopted a dog a few years back. A mutt of indeterminate breed on the slim side with a face like a seal. Big wet eyes, dark eyelashes, and a blonde-haired face. He's got a penis, and since we can't ask him his gender, we assume he's male. Now, for whatever reason, it seems like every dog he plays with wants to hump him. All of them. He doesn't really care. He'll tell him to knock it off if it gets to be too much, but for the most part, he just keeps playing. The ones who get pissed about it, though, are the humping dogs owners, who come over marching and yelling about how you should get her spayed. My dog never acts like this. Rah! Their face when we tell them that our dog is, in fact, not a girl, is quite enjoyable. This giant digital billboard was vandalized with paint within weeks of it being put up. I love my city. Yep, deserves it. Bristol against digital advertising screen.
Okay.
Is that Bristol over in Europe, or is
that Bristol in the UK? Probably.
Our Bristol.
I don't think it's our Bristol, because I don't think there's anyone in our Bristol that would be rich enough to have that in front of their business.
True.
So I think this is in the UK.
You know, I heard a joke a while back about them maybe putting...
And with the casino moving in here now, by the time the casino's here, I do think we'll have digital ad boards like that, in which I guess I'm going to have to whip out my paintball gun.
I mean...
Just
why, though? Like,
I'm joking.
I really don't care that much. It's like, people look at Times Square and don't get mad about all the ads and stuff. They think it looks neat.
I think it's just like an where it's too bright and it's always on.
Maybe.
And people can't sleep with it on.
Well, yeah, if you put this right across from somebody's fucking apartment, you're a dickhead.
Well, yeah. Well, it's just like
they shouldn't be allowed in any place that still has like any kind of residential housing. You
remember the Daredevil series, right? You know, you remember the episode where he invites what's her name, Deborah Ann Wall. I forget the character she played.
I haven't actually watched it enough to.
Well, it was in the first few episodes. It was in the first few episodes, but
I've really only seen clips.
Okay, so he invites her up to his apartment to stay there while she's trying to get her affairs in order. And she's like, "How did you get this apartment? This apartment's amazing." And he's like, "Here, let's go to the living room. I'll show you." Goes to the living room, and there's a big-ass digital billboard straight out the window across from him, just blaring light into his apartment. And there is nothing he can do about it. And she's like, "Oh, well, I guess where you're blind, it doesn't really matter much." Like, "No, it doesn't." And she's like, well, how am I going to sleep? He's like, "Oh, there's a room back there that doesn't have any windows, so you should be good." Gosh.
Billboards in space, and my favorite response to that has always been, and
Nuke
will
them.
always be, if I look up to see the moon and I see advertisements anywhere in the sky, I will become a terrorist. Today I learned in 2018 a hacker broke into people's routers, about 100,000 of them, and patched their vulnerabilities up so that they couldn't be abused by other hackers. A strange and rare tale of a good hacker doing a good boy thing. At least once a
white
month I
hat.
randomly remember that Dr. Phil once invited the creator of the Bum Fights video series on his show to confront him about exploiting vulnerable people for financial gain, only for him to show up dressed as Dr. Phil and point out he does the exact same thing. And to my recollection, it lasted all of like 10 seconds once he did that, because Dr. Phil is a giant plant saver. Oh, thank God. Don't know why the plant was knocked over in the first place, but at least someone was
Probably
there
a
to pick
car
up the
ran
pieces,
into it.
right? The Indiana law that lets citizens cops. The Hoosier state now allows people to use deadly force to keep public servants from illegally entering their homes or cars. Police, of course, are not pleased. Oh yeah, they don't get to bust into your home without warning or anything like that at all and kill you while you sleep anymore.
Well, number one, I've always stood against the no-knock warrants. Like, if a public servant is going to be coming into your house, they have to give excessive amount of notice that they are going to be doing that. Like, they have to call you, let you know. They have to, like, knock on your door, stuff like that. Because, honestly, no-knock warrants, all it does is get people killed. That's it. All it does is get people killed or gets their animals killed. It's like this guy in Colorado.
I don't understand why they put officers in jeopardy by doing that.
Oh,
Because it not only, like, it doesn't just get citizens killed. Like, it gets officers killed, too.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why people, like, why, like, the laws and... Brain just shut off. I don't understand why they make laws that allow no-knock warrants whenever it endangers not just people in their homes, but the officers entering those homes.
yeah. And the officers who are entering those homes...
How are we ever supposed to catch anybody doing anything illegal? It doesn't fucking matter that much.
It's like, here's how you do it. You monitor them, and if you see them actually doing bad stuff, then you arrest them. If not, and you can't prove it, guess what? That means you're a bad cop. That means you're a bad investigator. I'm sorry. Look, the truth is, no-knock warrants have led to countless horrible things happening. This guy was in Colorado, and someone reported, like, this is before it was legal in Colorado, but reported that the man had what looked like a smoking apparatus in his trash can. First off, that's illegal because you're not allowed to go through someone else's trash. Period. But they did this, and they secured a no-knock warrant. Police busted into his house, and his dog, believing that it was a threat, went at the police officers, and they killed his freaking dog right there. And then they get in there, and they find that, turns out the guy didn't use that smoking apparatus for cannabis. He used it for tobacco. He dropped it on the floor, and it broke, and so he threw it away. He wound up suing the state of Colorado and winning, I think it was around $3 million. If that happened and something happened to any of our animals, dude, Jesus.
At least literally only in Indiana, some residents of this town hold authorities at gunpoint and made them construct a road overnight. 30 were arrested. Accidents were allegedly witnessed on that patch of broken road. Sometimes people just get fed the hell up, brother. My university is greedy, so I decided to post everything I learn about woodworking at an almost $300,000 4-year curriculum. Your university teaches woodcutting at $300,000 for a full 4 years?
Tell you what, there's a bunch of wood cutting and wood carving courses online for free on YouTube that you can watch and learn probably more than you could have at that $300,000 4-year curriculum.
True.
Wow. I'm not posting this as self-promotion, but to share the opportunity to learn for everyone. The financial situation of colleges and universities in the USA is ridiculous, and this is my way of getting back at them. I don't charge for anything, and I don't ever plan to. I just ask that everyone's civil and follows the rules. There are already 3 assignments you could start working on, as well as a ton of information and material to look over. Aha!
By the way,
Robin Hood. Now,
just a tip to everyone. If you don't want the actual diploma, like if you just want this badly to learn the skills from these classes, you can show up and sit into a lecture at a college. They're never going to ask why you're there.
No.
now that is true chaotic good.
Especially if you go into an auditorium, they'll pass a roll sheet around. When it gets to you, just pass it to the next person. Like,
yep.
You don't even have to actually write anything, you know?
And most of the professors
no
don't
one
even
will
care.
ever notice you're not supposed to be there.
And most of the professors just don't care.
No. I mean, like, you can sit into probably a lot of professors' smaller classes. Well, they'll probably notice that you're not ever on their roll and stuff. But they either won't care or they'll eventually just be like, hey, if you're not on the roll, you should probably leave. And that's the worst that'll happen to you.
Yeah.
Like, until then, you can get several classes for free, most likely. So, just pro tip if you just want to learn the skills but don't need the diploma.
Boobin at checkout to get free shipping. Ukrainian women are using dating profiles with AI images to trick horny Russian soldiers into giving away secrets, report says.
Smart on you.
Oh, god damn it. I visited my high school I dropped out of 76 years ago to pay tribute to the popular girls that bullied me to think I'd never be popular.
I spaced for a second. Let me read that previous one. Just making sure I read that right.
26 years ago to pay tribute to the popular girls that bullied me to think I'd never be popular. Now I have 6 million followers and they're all rotting underground. You freaking show 'em. After Minnie Cox, the first black female postmaster, was pressured out of her post in Mississippi, President Theodore Roosevelt continued to pay her salary and punished the town by rerouting their mail 30 miles away until they gave her back the position. I feel like there are a lot of ways he could have solved this issue, but he chose the funniest, in my opinion. I appreciate it. I noticed there was a blank wall at McDonald's, so I decided to make this fake poster of me and my friend and put it up. It's been there for 51
ago.
Yeah.
That's not even really, in my opinion, chaotic good. That's more like a neutral good. Like that's more like chaotic neutral, actually. You're not really doing good for anyone. It's just funny. It's a funny, harmless
You're
joke.
doing good for McDonald's by providing them with some
free
artwork.
advertisement.
Yeah.
Like, makes sense. I mean, like, it literally looks like something that they would have hanging up in the McDonald's.
Oh, yeah.
Hence why it's been there for 51 days. The employees never noticed it wasn't supposed to be there. It also shows you how overworked and stressed they are that they don't even fucking notice a giant change in detail in their work environment like that, because that's the least of their fucking worries.
Oh, yeah.
days. I feel like everybody that noticed that it was, because they all noticed. They didn't just not notice the poster. They did, but they probably assumed, oh, management must have come down and put it up there. This man is painting penises on potholes, so the council has to take action. You know, I've always wondered...
Oh my god! Look at that big bastard.
So that's some real chaotic good energy right there.
Yes, because...
Technically, that's not legal. Like, that's defacing government property.
But it's only illegal if you get caught.
Exactly. And you're forcing the local authorities to fix something that they should be fucking keeping on top of anyway, because that's goddamn dangerous.
It is.
Well,
So,
this really works.
I approve. As a chaotic good individual, sometimes I approve.
Yes.
Because our neighborhood is messed up, and I would like for them to actually fix the damn roads at least one time. My roommate,
I'm not
when she talks to
encouraging you to do
unvaccinated
this.
guys...
I'm just saying, the guy who did is a legend.
eyes and convinces them to get the vaccine so they can go on a date and then proceeds to ghost them. Good. Suck it. I worked for a billing office and built programs to make it easier to keep track of clients, payments, and records. I was fired and told to finish out 2 weeks. In that time, I removed every program I'd created and put them back on their outdated original program.
Ow.
They don't own your programs. You do. Suck it. They can just suck it. The last time we had a real live shutdown, one of the local college radio stations started playing the uncensored versions of all the songs they can't normally play since the FCC wasn't operating and couldn't find them. I feel like we should do that again, but on the big boy radio stations. Although, you know, at a certain point, they'll just start secretly keeping track anyway, rack up a bill, and then send it to everybody because that's how this all works. I practice hostile, pedestrianism. Driver speeds up and tries to beat me through the crosswalk. I start running, so they either have to stop or run me over. Driver edging into the crosswalk at a stoplight. I make direct eye contact and shout at them as I give them a thumbs down. I'm aware this will probably result in me getting shot or run over, but I don't care.
Actually, someone, when I was going out to pick up JT for band practice, on the way back, these people bolted out in the middle of the road on Main Street in Abingdon, and I had to stop in order to let them by. Like, here's the thing. There was a crosswalk like about 30 feet up from where they were heading to. And I was looking at them like they crossed the road in front of me, and I had to stop and everything. And the guy, like, whenever I stopped, just like was staring daggers at me like I did something wrong. Like, dude, I'm the car on the road, and yet you think you can just run out in front of me. And even though, you know, citizens do have the right of way, that's the truth.
Pedestrians that have the right of way.
Exactly. But that doesn't mean you just get to run out in the middle of the road and just completely like derail any momentum that a vehicle has. Dude.
Were they in a crosswalk?
No.
Exactly. Well, they're in the wrong in that place because pedestrians have the right of way, but you're no longer considered a pedestrian whenever you run out in the middle of a road.
Yeah.
You're essentially at that point obstructing traffic.
Makes me wonder if they were trying to
You're
commit
only a
insurance
pedestrian
fraud.
if you're walking in like legal areas for pedestrians to be walking in. Otherwise, you're jaywalking. You're committing a crime. You're in the wrong.
So they crossed and everything. The guy stared daggers at me, and I look back at him, and he's like crossing in front of me, just like staring back at me. And I look at him, and I just go, I got my hand on the wheel, and I just go.
I would just like
And then
tempted to yell out the window. Didn't your mother ever teach you to look left and right before crossing the street?
And then he basically just like looks back at me and just like does the whole like the. And I'm just like that's all I could say. Then I went on. JT was there with me, and he saw the whole thing, and he was like, dude, I can't believe they actually fucking did that. And I'm like, I know, dude. People are stupid.
Said it before and I'll say it again. Just because someone pisses you off or annoys you or anything like that does not mean you have the right to murder them. Just because you have a gun in your car does not mean that when you get mad you get to pull it out and end someone's life. You are not that person. And if you think you are, you'll spend a lot of time in prison and you'll deserve it. I want bad drivers to be uncomfortable in their interactions with me and think about it for the rest of the day. I want bad drivers to tell their friends about some crazy guy who yelled at them in the middle of an intersection. I want bad drivers to be fearful of me, so they look for pedestrians while they drive. Really, I want to make driving less comfortable for those who have grown lazy. They're not even lazy, they're just pieces of shit. Time to paint me. Oh, there you go. Results. Thank you. Chaotic good for sure. Hedge funds. GameStop can't open its doors because of the pandemic. Let's short more than 100% of its stock so the company dies and 15,000 people lose their jobs. Reddit, screw you. Finance media. Oh my god, the Redditors are using foul language. God, do I wish we could keep doing that again and again and again. Screw hedge funds. Die. Just die. Update. Republicans started recruiting plaintiffs for a lawsuit to stop student debt relief. Our response? 130,000 false applications were sent in less than a day. Good work, everybody. Yeah, keep it up. Absolutely keep it up.
Damn.
The world and our country are not able to continue operating under crippling, lifelong debt. It's not going to f***ing work. People are dying. This has to stop. I was terminated from my job, but still have their grocery supplier login. I worked in a commercial kitchen. This large company screwed me over and took advantage of me. me. I really wanted to add ridiculous, pointless items to their deliveries. Would this be illegal? I don't think the website tracks login locations. Well, if you have the login, you have the credentials to change the password, and even better, the delivery address. Change both, make the address to a homeless shelter, and order one big-ass delivery of non-perishables, canned goods, and anything that'll make their lives wonderful for a spell. You know big companies, you know them as well as I do. They're not just gonna let them have it. Once they figure out what's going on, they're gonna find out where those deliveries were made, they're gonna have a bunch of douchebags show up and take it back. If you hate your HOA, nothing funnier than installing a 7,000 plus capacity bat roost causing thousands of bats to come into your neighborhood. They'll cause your HOA to complain, but they can't legally do anything about it because bats are federally protected animals and it cannot be removed.
Hey, that's like, if we don't have an HOA here, and I'm glad for that, but if we did have an HOA...
We'd be building a bat roost.
Oh, not just a... No, I wouldn't build a bat roost. I would build a honeybee enclosure. So that way, I could get fresh honey whenever the hell I wanted to. And not only that, but also, you know, they can't do anything about me removing the honeybees because they're a federally protected insect.
I think we have enough land to spread them out. Why not move?
Maybe.
You have bats over there and honeybees over there.
Yeah, we could do that. We could definitely do that. Anyway.
Well, we don't live in a homeowner association, but
if we
could still build a bat sanctuary. Just bats are cool.
Well, yeah, but here's the thing about a homeowners association: if they ever do agree to it, like the people in this cul-de-sac do agree to do it, I'm literally going to do everything I can to avoid it because homeowners associations basically guarantee you that you're going to have to, you know, do a level of maintaining that's just going to be ridiculous. And a homeowners and an HOA like representative can literally walk around your property unabated, like completely like without, you know, they are able to trespass on your property. They can look at the exterior of your house and be like, hey, color of the brick doesn't match over here, and if you don't get that fixed,
yeah, they can literally charge you hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and thousands of dollars.
And then if you don't agree to pay their ridiculous, stupid fines, then they'll just put a lien on you, and then they'll just be like, well, it's like they have nothing better to do. Anyway, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't see that happening until the housing market crashes again. Because there's no reason for them to enact a homeowners association here because housing costs are already fucking through the roof.
Yes.
Like, even with our yard, like, slightly unmaintained, the value of this house is probably still...
Oh, it's
and the value of this neighborhood in general, like, all the houses in this neighborhood in general, like, it doesn't matter what their neighbors' houses look like, it's still fucking ridiculously high.
Yes.
Because that's just how the housing market is at the moment. But once it crashes again, there is a chance that some people in the neighborhood might be like, hey guys, we need to get the value of our houses up so we can move out of here. Like, so we're starting a homeowners association, in which case we'll be like, y'all have fun with that.
And I'll just be like, yeah, I very strongly vote against this because of the crippling restrictions that homeowners associations put on every single member of said homeowners association. And I think everyone should do research into that.
We literally live at the end of a dead end. Nobody has to fucking pass our house if they don't want to. So you just leave us the fuck alone down here.
Yeah.
Like, because you don't have to even look at our house if you don't want to.
I was going to say...
Go fuck yourself.
I was going to say, everyone else cuts their grass on Monday, and you have to cut your grass on Monday, too, in order to meet the standards of the homeowners. And if you don't do it, that's going to be a fine of $350 right here and right now. And I'm just going to be like... I'll tell you what you can do with that $350. You can go out and you can buy a nice, shiny, chrome-coated vibrator, and you can shove it up your ass.
How about this? I'll give you the $350, but I'm gonna roll it up in a turd.
I'm literally gonna wait.
It out of the turd.
I'm literally going to wait for my dog to shit in the middle of the yard, and I'm going to wrap it up into a ball, and I'm going to put it underneath him while he shits.
Yeah.
Just so you have to dig through the dog shit just to get it out. Mm-hmm. Sound good? All right.
Anyways, Enough of our chaotic good stuff.
Knowing HOAs, though, they should all die and burn in hell. They will find a way. They will absolutely figure out a way to get this taken down or, you know, get you killed or something. HOAs do all sorts of nasty,
it also says they cannot legally do anything, but there are probably a lot of psychopathic homeowner association owners that are going to come burn your bat roost down at night.
Yeah.
So you better keep an eye on that thing, have motion lights and shit so you can shoot them when they get on your property.
Yeah, to which just be like, get off my property. Oh, goodness. They're charging at me. Boom, boom, boom.
He's coming right for us.
Good morning, evil bitches. How'd y'all fare in the night? Great. I sent an email to my landlord about our living conditions and CC'd his mom, dad, uncle, granddad, the CHA, City of Chicago, elected officials, and every multi-million-dollar company and foundation his family owns or heads. Good. Keep it that way. A French weightlifter named Charles, I won't ruin your last name, was jailed for hitting a guard, but broke out of the jail cell by bending the bars. He allowed the other prisoners to escape as well, as he then beat the guard who jailed him.
Nice.
One of the few people in history...
Charles Rigolo, I've heard of him. That is easily one of the most badass things you could ever imagine. It's awesome.
Oh, yeah.
I think we can unironically say was built different. When contestants do cry out of frustration or disappointment generally, Mel and Sue stand near them and use unairable language, so the embarrassing footage is tainted and won't make it into the final edit, using unwholesome language to keep your show wholesome.
Yeah. It's like if someone was like crying next to me and like I saw someone come up with a camera, I'd just be like, it's okay, I'm gonna try and cheer you up by saying some very crass stuff. It's like ugly suckers.
Quit. You have to make this airable on YouTube. You can't even put that one word you just said on Patreon, man. You'll get canceled.
Well, I'm not putting it on Patreon.
Better not be.
Oh, God. Okay.
Aww. As well as swearing, they also use brand names. This must be the definition of chaotic good, honestly. It's also just being very, very clever.
I was just thinking they probably walked to them and they're open. It's like, it's okay, hon. It's okay. Fuck them. They don't fucking matter. Like,
yeah.
You know, it's, like, I respect those ladies. I don't know what show they're from, but I respect that.
I do too.
That vandalizes cars that are parked on pavement or blocking disabled access. Good. Screw you. You know what you're doing. You know where you parked. Suck it, asshole. What's the craziest crime you or somebody in your family committed? It's not a bad crime or anything, but it was illegal at the time. So in Germany, up until a few years ago, we still had a general draft for the army, and a generation ago, it was very hard to get out of it. My uncle was a hardcore pacifist, so going to the army wasn't an option for him. But being accepted as a conscientious objector at the time basically required you to be a devout Christian and use the Bible as an argument for why you couldn't kill another human. And my uncle was also atheist, so he couldn't realistically object, didn't want to go to the army, and didn't want to go to jail too, so he waited. He got sent his first draft notice, passed the physical, and got a letter telling him to report to X company under Sergeant Y. He wrote back a reply on rose-colored paper, scented with perfume, about how much he was looking forward to serving under the strong leadership of Y, promising to obey every one of his orders, and that he can't wait to experience life in the barracks together with so many strong and muscular men. He was declared unfit for service shortly after.
Unfortunately, that wouldn't work anymore for you now.
No, not anymore. Not anymore.
Good idea for back then, though.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's great. That's super cool. Black men drinking water at a white-only fountain in 1964. Again, I've mentioned it before, but it's still crazy how this stuff was not happening very long ago, really at all. Our grandparents were there, had a baby boomer, and...
Yeah, the truth is, well, actually, it was going on even sooner than that, like in our lifetime in other countries. I mean, that's the most, like, that's what's mind-blowing to me.
front of me at the Dairy Queen, she insisted she was the Blizzard expert, and there was simply not enough chocolate pieces in her Blizzard, and she wanted to complain to whoever was in charge. She's going on and on with this teenager. The teenager is calmly explaining they make them all the same, etc., but this woman's now yelling at them. So I walk past the woman and put money in the teen's tip jar. Haven't gotten ice cream yet. Woman looks at me and turns back and yells more and more with the teen. I put more money in there. The teen smiles at me. The woman can't think of what to say and stops yelling, because I'm looking at her dead in the eye with the ATM is over there, I can and go all night, the more you yell at her, the more money she makes kind of look. Aggressive generosity to combat boomer selfishness is so punk. Also, we as a society need to come together and be a little bit more vocal about defending employees of stores like that. I'm sorry, the teenagers don't and aren't allowed to speak up because they kind of want to keep their job.
I always, like, when I'm standing behind, like, it's only happened to me, like, once since I got out of retail. But I was standing behind somebody in line, and they were being a fucking dickhead to the person at the gas station. And I was like, ma'am, they have things on their computers here where they literally can't do what you're asking them to do. Like, they already told you if you'll come back, like, at this time, they can do it. But I promise you, I've worked this kind of job before, and I know he's not telling you about bullshit. Like, you know, they're not fucking lying to you.
Yeah.
And she just got huffy and walked out.
Well,
And the person at the counter was like, thank you so much. And I'm just like, dude, it's cool. Like, you know, it's just, people are stupid. Like, people are hella entitled sometimes, too.
and here's the one that happened to me was, here's like, I worked at grocery stores, and I was a cart pusher back in the day. This was before they had the automated thing, you know, with like the little switch, you know, you put it at the back of the line of cards and it pushes it forward. You know, that they have at Walmart. Way before then, you know, and this was after I was out of that. It was a few years ago. I was at Walmart, and all of a sudden, I'm walking out of Walmart, and I'm pushing my cart out. You know, it's filled with groceries and stuff like that. And I see this elderly woman, you know, like in her like 50s, maybe early 60s. She walks, instead of walking her cart to the cart carrier, which is across the way from her, you know, 20 feet maybe. She instead rolls it over to the handicap space and parks it against the post in the handicap space.
That's fucked up.
So, as I'm walking by, I literally stop.
Respect your elders, but also hold your elders accountable for being respectful themselves.
So I literally stop dead right there, and I look at her, and I just like, I watch her as she's walking back, and then she looks over at me, sees me looking at her. I don't say anything. I don't say a fucking word. And then she looks over at me, then she looks back at her cart, and she looks back at me again. Looks back at her cart, walks back to her cart, and then pushes it across into the cart carrier.
I legitimately wasn't sure if you were going to say she was just going to run and get in her car and leave real fast, or if she was actually like feel bad and go move it.
Because that's the thing. The thing is, nothing makes people more uncomfortable, especially people like that. Nothing makes them more uncomfortable
than knowing someone just saw them do some bullshit.
Than unbroken eye contact after they've done some bullshit.
Well, it's the fact that they know what they're doing's wrong, but they feel like nobody's judging them for it.
Oh, I'm judging hard.
They feel like they're getting completely away with it. But when they suddenly notice someone is very obviously judging them for what they just did, they're like, I guess I should not do that.
Yeah, I judged pretty hard there without saying a friggin' word. And I guess she got the point. But I just remember after she took the cart over to the cart carrier, I was just like, okay. And I just pushed it on. And I turned around and looked behind me. And she was just like speed walking back to her car. Like she wanted to get out of there. She was so embarrassed that she got caught doing that.
It's something I kind of want to start doing if I have ones in my pocket, because it keeps happening more lately, and I'm starting to suspect that companies started to tell them, like, on top of their responsibilities, it's something else they have to do. But like, never used to happen to me, but the guys outside getting the carts,
yeah,
now will like leave their cart train sitting like across the aisle, like out of the way, and come over to me real quick when they see that I'm getting my groceries out of it, and like take my cart for me when I'm done.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, thanks, man.
Yeah,
like, you have a good one, you know?
I love
I'm like, I
those
should
guys.
start giving them $1, like, when they do that. I was like, here's a tip for taking my car, thanks.
Be like, bro, appreciate it. Thanks. Love what you do.
And if they don't like it, and most of them don't, most people don't like their jobs, as a matter of fact, because they all suck and they get paid nothing for it. But we're not allowed to yell at people who are being horribly abusive smartasses who make threats and do whatever they want. We, as a society, like I said, need to band together, and whenever we see that happening, tell that person to shut the fuck up and leave. And maybe don't come back. They are not welcome anywhere. Man buys a
The
hate group's
employees
domain and
aren't
turns
allowed to defend themselves, but you can get away with defending an employee if you're just shopping there.
Yep.
it into a gay furry site. The Wolves of Odin is an anti-Muslim hate group, but if you go to their Canadian website, you'll only see love. Be me, sister's having an extra rough day. Take my nephew to one of those jump parks just to give her a moment to breathe. He's enjoying himself and wants to play dodgeball with the other kids. The other kids are 12 to 14 while he's 7. Tell him I won't stop him from having fun, but expect no mercy from the older kids. He gets slaughtered, clearly upset. The other kids are clearly targeting him. His entire team is obliterated. Decide enough is enough. Walk into the court like Big in a locker room. Be 25-year-old, 6'4" fat ass, whatever user adult. Can throw one of these balls with the speed of a meteor compared to the plebeian kids on the other team. Reenact that scene in dodgeball where the loser gets really pissed off and murders the entire team solo. Jump up on the trampoline so high that when my full fat ass weight goes down into a throw, I knock kids down. They're flying into the sides of the trampolines after my gorilla throws. Nephew thinks it's the most badass crap ever. Our team wins. Take him out for ice cream after. I've not done much with my crappy life, but I'll never forget how happy my nephew was to tell my sister that I slam dunked other children.
Man, you know what? You know what? I'll tell you, man. Nothing really gives you, like, such great satisfaction in life than like, bullying a bunch of children. Especially if they're from an orphanage. Well, what are they going to do? Tell their parents?
Yeah, that's an old joke.
Yeah. Sorry. That's a joke, by the way. But, anyway.
Rodriguez hunted down 10 of her 20-year-old daughter's kidnappers, stalking them one by one across Mexico until they were either dead or in prison. Much like Liam Neeson's character in the 2008 film, Taken, because you didn't fucking say it, Miriam Rodriguez from Mexico used guns, fake IDs, and even disguises to hunt down the men who snatched and murdered her child.
Badass.
Make that into a movie, bro. I would watch it. Because it's true.
I still feel really bad for her, though.
No, I do too. But at the same time, like, I know the Liam Neeson, I know that Taken's a great movie, but this, I think, would make a much more intriguing film. And, you know, I feel sorry for the fact that her daughter
if
died.
you didn't film it as, like, a straight-up action movie.
No.
If you, like, gave a level of respect
if it's
and
methodical
drama to it, you know?
Oh, no. This would be a methodical, like, no, it would be comparable to Munich. Did you ever see Munich? Munich is basically a film about the revenge that the Mossad, you know, the Israeli Special Forces, did against the terrorists who attacked the Israeli Olympic team at the 1972 Munich Olympics. And it is brutal what they did. I mean, you want to talk about, like, holding no punches and literally just doing everything you could to get the bastards that killed your friends and everything. This right here, Miriam Rodriguez, you know, I don't know if she'll ever see this, but my heart goes out to you for, you know, the loss of your daughter. And as someone who does not have children of their own, but does hold my nephews and nieces very close to my heart, if anything happened to them, hell on earth, like, nothing would stop me from getting back at the bastards that did it. I mean, that's the thing. It's like, if something happened to my mom, I don't care if I die in the process. I am taking them down. That's the thing. I mean, I don't like to be a violent person. I don't delight in it, and I don't seek it. But there are things in my life that I value way more than I value myself, and my family and my friends are one of them. And if you fucking take any of them from me in any way, say goodnight. That's all I gotta say.
I hope she was
You
completely...
better pray to God the cops get to you before I do. Because I'll make it last.
utterly successful. Walmart to close its doors on Black Friday. I'm starting a misinformation campaign to convince people that Walmart is closed on Black Friday. That way the people who work at Walmart will have a less stressful day. Join me in the fight to spread positive misinformation. Yeah, we gotta stop this
why just
Black Friday
Walmart,
thing, because
man?
it's not even on the day anymore.
You should do that
it's
for
it's
like
its own
every
holiday
retail
now.
store.
Huh?
It's like, why just Walmart? You should do that for like every retail store.
I agree.
Like cause a complete like
gridlock.
Yeah, well, no, like just cause a complete bunk Black Friday for businesses, so that they're like, oh, well, I guess people aren't interested in Black Friday anymore, and then they'll fucking stop because it is hell on the people who work those jobs.
Yes.
Every single person I know, myself included, that worked retail, if you ask them what is the worst day of the year,
Black Friday.
Black Friday.
I worked Black Friday once at a Walmart, and I promised I'd never do it again.
Black Friday is mentally damaging, and I would not be at all surprised to learn there are actually retail employees that have PTSD due to working Black Fridays.
No doubt.
Like, it is awful. Like, and literally, people have been killed over it.
Yes.
People have been killed over getting deals on fucking material items.
Yes.
Like, it's absurd, man.
It is.
Like, it shouldn't be allowed anymore.
I don't think so
understand
either.
you like your fucking sales, and you're probably one of those people that likes to always go get deals on Black Friday. But in my opinion, Cyber Monday is a way better fucking idea.
I agree.
Like, you don't have to worry about getting killed because you ordered some extra shit off Amazon that day, you know? Black Friday, on the other hand, is bullshit.
Thanksgiving who? It's like October now coming out into stores in August, or Christmas beginning to sell decorations. Like, I say Christmas like it's an entity that's...
Yet Christmas, no, it's bullshit because, dude, I saw Christmas items on the shelf, no joke, in both Dollar General and Lowe's on September 1st.
It's doing it itself. You know, Christmas decorations pop out October 1st for some reason, which is complete bullshit, honestly. Knock it off, please. And Black Friday's basically the entire month now, so that's cool. I buried my boss's son...
I really wish it was illegal to start selling Christmas shit until the day after Thanksgiving, but at the same time, that would make it worse on retail workers as well, because everybody would be more rushed to get all their Christmas shit, so... What I do wish is that it would be illegal to play Christmas music in stores until after the 25th of November. That, I think, is more reasonable.
You know what I think?
I don't want to have to hear All I Want for Christmas Is You as much every year. Make it illegal to play that song until after Thanksgiving, at least.
At least, yeah, I could see that.
Okay, my teacher wanted a story that's going to shock him, so I wrote him a cute little story about a couple, Fletcher and Mia, falling in love. The last sentences of the story are, so what's your full name? I mean, what's Mia short for? Michael. Because my teacher's kind of homophobic, I'm going to force him to enjoy a fluffy love story with no gender pronouns, and oh, what a shame, you liked a story about a gay couple. Sorry, man. I've been using Spotify to secretly...
Watch the teacher read through it, just be like, such a bullshit love story. I'm not even going to finish it.
Yeah.
Sorry, but...
I was kind of thinking, I was like, what if they don't actually like it?
It's the thing.
It's
just like all of a sudden...
writer to make them like the story.
It's just like, I gave you a C. It was middle of the road. It's like, how'd you like the ending? I didn't read
get
it.
to it.
I didn't get that far. It's like, oh, I really thought you'd like the ending. I mean, maybe if you read it, you know, you give me an A. It's like,
you're gonna have to improve the beginning and middle for me to get to the ending. I'm sorry.
Yeah, still a C. I'm sorry.
spy on my friend. One of my closest friends names her Spotify
I still like
playlist.
the idea. I think it's a funny idea.
I do think so too.
It just makes me wonder what if they didn't like it enough to actually finish.
That's the thing too.
With specific
damn,
names. One of her
missed
playlists
opportunity, if so.
is called Sad Lady Hours, and every time I see her actively listening to it, I shoot her a hopefully inconspicuous text asking what she's up to, that I love her, etc., etc. I hope she never notices the pattern. Purest thing I've ever heard. In the town where I grew up, there was a large statue in one of the parks of a famous historical white colonizer. I'm not going to say who specifically. Suffice it to say that it was someone who wasn't worth memorializing for their deeds. And as you can imagine, this statue was a frequent target of vandalism, with paint or toilet paper or eggs on multiple occasions. Now, the local council was generally pretty lax when it came to repairing potholes or other public damage in the town, but every time, 24 hours after this particular statue was hit, the same person would always appear in a high-vis vest, hat, mask, and sunglasses, carrying a bucket of water, and wash it clean. They would do it as quickly as possible, but always made sure the face and name carved at the bottom were generously scrubbed. This only encouraged people to do it again, and it became a vicious cycle. Within the year, the statue had sustained so much damage it was unrecognizable, and the lettering unreadable, so eventually the council came and took it down. Also, apparently, the person in the high-vis vest didn't even work with them. They were supposedly just some good Samaritan who cleaned it, often before the council even discovered it needed cleaning. So they just let them do it and ignored the problem. They didn't bother putting the statue up again. Much later, we found out that the anonymous Samaritan had been deliberately washing the statue with a bucket of salt water, which had dramatically corroded it, causing irreversible accumulative damage far worse than spray paint ever would have done. It's even theorized that they were also often the ones spray painting it, just so they had an excuse to come back.
That's actually pretty good.
Could have just been the same guy both times.
Indeed. Ohio has stopped kicking workers off unemployment after a hacker targeted the state website used by employers to report employees who refuse to report for work. The hacker submitted huge volumes of junk data, making it impossible to investigate workers. Hey, Commonwealth Bank, how about you service your freaking ATMs in Bunbury so punters like me will not have to tape fish to them, so you'll have no choice but to come and fix them.
Damn. That's like the dude who randomly put loaves of bread in the toilet.
I just love the next line. I have more fish and tape. And willpower than your entire organization.
Fix them now. But it reminds me of that dude who used to put random loaves of bread in the toilets with notes on it, basically just telling management to go fuck themselves. And they could never find out who it was. And then management eventually had enough. It's like, if I ever find out who's putting these loaves of bread in the freaking toilets, I'm gonna break your fucking arms. To which anonymously, the next loaf of bread that was found in the toilet had a note written on it that said, "Fucking try me, Vince." It was so good.
Would have been even better if they could have managed to get that on a recording and sent over to HR as well. So that Vince got fucking fired for threatening employees.
I don't know.
I have more fish, tape, and willpower than your entire organization. Fix them now.
Hate to be the one to point out spelling errors. I know it's Commonwealth Bank. How about you service your fucking ATMs in Bunbury so punters like me will not have no-e.
I was kind of thinking when I read it, I was like, it's a good post. I wish you had to use the right version of your. But it's a good one.
Yeah, that, and also entire.
Yeah,
it's E. Also, no apostrophe, no E. Choice, missing an I. But to come and fix them, I have more fish and tape and willpower. I have more. Remove the and apostrophe. I have more fish apostrophe tape and willpower. Sorry.
Oh, I've just taken my son's phone. How do I access his history? It's impossible. Oh, thanks. So I got a friend who was protesting. They got arrested, and then they called their job from jail to tell them that they were in jail and weren't going to make it to work. Why did their job bail them out and make them come to work? I genuinely couldn't tell you anything about that one, pal. I got absolutely nothing for you.
There's probably something else going on behind the scenes. Maybe the person called them on the phone and be like, yo, man, if you don't come and get me out of jail, I'm going to let everyone in here know that your wife puts out. And next thing you know, your wife's going to be getting fucked by like 30 different dudes. Like, God damn it. All right, fine. Just comes in and bails them out.
Yeah. My ex-girlfriend had a few too many shots of tequila in a party and passed out on the couch. When I went to check on her, I noticed she pissed all over the place. To avoid embarrassment...
Damn it.
I filled up a bucket with water and threw it over her to disguise it as a prank. I'm that kind of boyfriend. She still has no idea. Now that's chaotic good. Chaotic evil, however, would be pissing all over her to disguise the fact that she pissed herself. I don't know. Would that truly disguise it? Because I'm not 100% sure or convinced of really anything anymore. Adding 400 years of increased school funding by editing the budget with your veto powers. All right. In Wisconsin, governors have a partial veto power, allowing them to strike out but not add individual words and phrases in a bill that's already passed the state legislature. On Wednesday, July 5th, Democratic Governor Tony Evers used this power to edit the language of the new state budget, passed by Republican-controlled state legislature, to extend the original budget's $325 per student school funding increase from 2 years to 402 years. Here's the original language of that section. For the limit for the 2023 to 2024 school year and the 2024 to 2025 school year, add $325 to the result under par. Evers used his partial veto power to strike out the text bolded below and got perfectly legally the following result. For the limit for 2023 through 24-25, add $325 to the result under par. Money forever. The Gulabi gang is a gang of women in India who track down and beat abusive husbands with brooms. This is too thug not to reblog. Can we give them something a little heavier? Maybe bats? Maybe we'll just give them full-on vacuum cleaners and they...
Nah. Honestly, I think those sick... I forget what kind of... Simrat sticks, I think what they're called. I think those Simrat sticks will be plenty enough to whip the asses of anyone they come across.
Well, especially if there's that many of them.
Yes.
And they're all beating on him, taking turns. It doesn't matter what he's getting hit with.
No.
He's going to be fucked up.
Oh, no doubt.
They could be beating him with, like, flimsy-ass switches. He's still going to be fucked up when they get done.
Oh, no doubt.
You can beat the shit out of these guys that way. Graffiti.
To be honest... It probably saves them murder charges by just using the brooms. If they were using bats,
yeah,
like they're gonna end up getting murder charges.
Then that could be assault charges, yeah.
Like they're just teaching a lesson. Like it also gives them the opportunity to teach the lesson because if he does it again, if he's stupid enough to do it again after getting beat to within an inch of his life with brooms, they can go back and beat him again.
Be like, we see you didn't learn your lesson. Here's another education. Well, pow.
Hometown. Motor vehicles. No motor vehicles? Yes motor vehicles? What exactly is going on here? Church annoyed after $20 donation turned out to be lecture on evolution. The First Church of the Trinity Blessed was appalled because an atheist has infiltrated the sanctity of the church and left a fake donation after the services. Aw, kind of like so many of your flock like to do when they're out at IHOP or something, because, a lot of people go to IHOP after church. I don't know why that feels weird, but I don't know. You couldn't mind your own goddamn business. So why are you pissy now? Oh, poor baby.
Well, I mean, if you particularly knew someone from that church had left a tip like that, yeah,
I'd
be like all about that.
Oh no,
Otherwise, if you just did that to a random church, then I'm just kind of like, in my opinion, you're just stooping to the same level at that point.
At that point, yeah.
You're just kind of being a dick for the sake of being a dick at that point.
I don't know. There's stuff that...
But also, if the church decided to make that public and get that pissed about it, the church probably needs to take a chill pill as well, because it's not that big of a deal.
Instead the church needs to look at that and just be like, okay.
Well, literally, I could see most of our deacons at our church just seeing that and just being like, well, that's hateful.
Yeah.
Just throwing it away.
And then what? And I have seen those those ones at IHOP where they basically put in there it's like, oh, I'm sorry, but the Lord will provide for you in the future. I am unable to tip you today. Look, I've seen those, and the ones that are real, absolute bullshit. But I've actually seen how a lot of them are fake. Because I don't know if anyone's noticed this, but there's there's a difference between the store copy of the receipt and the customer copy of the receipt. The store,
a lot of them get put with the store copies.
Yeah, and
as in the customer didn't leave that.
Exactly. The store, they write it on there and make it look like it to chase clout, because once again, people on the internet chase for clout, and they do it all the time. And it's hard to know what's real and what's not anymore. Well, anyway, I got nothing else to add. There was some chaotic good in here. There was also a lot of just absolute craziness. But anyway, until next time, everybody, signing off, I'm Nate.
I am Nick.
Y'all be good people. Take care. Peace.